I really liked what you just, it was very helpful. You're talking about that energy shift from, I've heard that before, but the foreground to background, that kind of clicks with me because, yeah, I'm still not there yet, but I do feel like sometimes I'm just like in the flow or something that maybe is just a taste.
Yeah, it's just, I would say, less of a person. When the person's really strongly there, then life feels like a struggle. As there's less person experiencing life, then life seems less and less of a struggle. So that's how I would say it in my language. It's all nonsense, ultimately, all language.
Yeah, well, I definitely do less of, as you say, less of a struggle.
But you said that you're definitely not there. So right now, there is this beingness, and this beingness has a story running it, going, I am a body, I am Jim, I am my story, I'm my past, my future, I'm my good actions, bad actions. But the essence is that beingness, that aliveness, and that aliveness is always there. It's the nature of everything. It's not inside your body or outside your body. It's just beingness, just pure beingness. And you can't say that that beingness is there or not there. All you can talk about that's there or not there is a character moving through time. And that character moving through time never exists here. It only exists in a dreamland of imagination. So it's not really true, that statement that you said that you're not there. You as a character in time's not there because it can't exist there. It's only existing in movement, in time, in imagination. But that aliveness, that beingness is always there.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to play this back later.
Oh, okay, yeah. We can do it again now if you like. I don't mind.
Yeah, sometimes it's very clear the way you talk, and other times, yeah, I just know that it's more intellectual, my grasp of it. And it's not.
Well, we can try again, Jim. I like your name. We can just try again, Jim. So there is this beingness. Do you know what I mean when I say beingness? Do you have a sense of that?
Yes.
This aliveness. And in the aliveness, at some point, maybe when the body was 1 or 2 years old, it started telling the story that you are a body, you are a baby, and that you are Jim. And
okay.
It started feeling like an energy came in to the body and said, I am this body, I am a baby. It was like an energetic movement that happened. Before that happened, there was just pure being, pure aliveness, and the baby had no sense, baby Jim had no sense of inside, outside, mother, father, me, you. There was just that aliveness. It didn't even have a memory that was functioning, so there wasn't any time that existed. And that can't be remembered because a memory didn't function then. It was just pure aliveness, and it was absolutely timeless and free of everything, and yet everything. And then this energy started to form of I am Jim. And it was like an energy in the body, and it began to develop through time. When at a very young child, it's not very strong identification, so the world is very wondrous and exciting. And then as the body gets older and older, that contraction, that energy of Jim gets stronger, and the idea of what you need to do with your life and where you need to go gets stronger, and the looking for things in time grows. And then there becomes more focus on things in time, and all the energy moves into past and future, where you've come from, where you're going, what you're going to get. And the energy is all focused around Jim. But there's always that aliveness, that same aliveness that was there when before the baby had identified. That pure beingness is always there, even though that whole character of Jim's developed. So right now, that story of you're not there yet, you will never get there because it's nothing to do with the story. The beingness is always there. It's boundless, it's huge, it's everything, and it's nothing, and it contains that whole story of Jim. But it's not about Jim understanding or Jim getting it. That aliveness is there in which Jim appears in, and the energy moves from being that small, narrow character to moving in time to that boundless beingness which has always been there. And then the character carries on, but the beingness no longer belongs to the character. the character appears in beingness.
Character appears in beingness.
But it's not something you get, it's a
like
sense.
The character in a dream
is appearing in the dream. Yeah. So it's like that beingness is there right now. It's everything. It doesn't, your aliveness, your essence, that timeless part of you, that pit that feels the same when you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, when you were angry, happy, sad, when the body was sick. That beingness is always there. It's always free. And as you begin to forget yourself, as Jim begins to die, as the brain begins to get older, there will still be that vibrant, radiant beingness. Even if Jim gets Alzheimer's and forgets everything about Jim, there will always be that essence of aliveness. And that aliveness is pure love.
Right.
And it's there all the time. In all Jim's suffering, it's been there, immersing Jim. I don't even know a better word to put it. Like it's been there, holding Jim. It's been Jim. If you know what I mean. So it's never something that you regain. It's always there. It's just when you begin to forget yourself, then there's just a melting back into pure beingness. Or you could put it the other way, when you begin to remember yourself as pure beingness, the Jim begins to be forgotten. You could say it both ways. Neither of them are right. Neither of them are wrong. And this is a felt thing, or maybe felt's not quite right, because feeling appears in it, but it's like, it's not an intellectual thing. This is something that you know so well. Your beingness is so intimate. It's there when you're sick, it's there when you're depressed, it's there when you're happy, it's there when your wife likes you or doesn't like you, or when your wife leaves you, or when your kids grow up and leave home, or when they're children. It's always there, the beingness. It's free as well. You are always free. So that sentence, I haven't got there yet. Who hasn't got there yet?
Yeah.
I'm like a leech, aren't I? You say one thing, I'm like...
No, a couple of times in my life I've had those, what I call noetic experience.
What do you call it? A noetic?
Yeah, noetic is just something that you absolutely know. You don't know how you know, you just know it.
What's the word? Noetic? I've never heard that word before. Noetic.
Well, unfortunately I was a philosophy major, so... And in a philosophy of religion class, a professor introduced us to that term.
Noetic.
Of mystics who they know, but they have no way of, there's no explanation for knowing. There's no justification.
No, because justification can only happen in time. Yeah, that noetic. Actually, you've not had the noetic experiences. You disappeared, and there was always that noetic experience. But then you came back and you said, "Oh, wow," and then you formulated it into a memory. But you never experienced it. You were always the experience. You could never experience the noetic experience, if I'm saying that word right, because you were always the experience. Jim was always the experience, not the experiencer.
Yeah, you're right. The term noetic still
I'm a
has
philosophy
meaning
major. I like that. I'm right.
In dualism, but
Sorry. Carry on.
No, I'm just saying that you're right, that term, using the term still is in a dualistic context there. But you say there's an energy shift from the Jim that's in the story in time to the awareness of being.
Not the awareness, just to beingness. Awareness is just a functioning, but it's often used in non-duality because it's an easy explanation. But it is an energetic shift, but ultimately it's not really an energetic shift. It's just seemingly an energetic shift. It's just, there's never, because even the energetic contraction of that feeling of being Jim is really actually always a boundless experience. It just appears to give the experience of contraction. So there's not really ever an energetic shift, but it seems that way.
Oh.
It seems that way because actually that contraction of Jim is actually happening everywhere and is boundless. Like you'll never find the contraction of Jim.
By contraction, you mean like focusing on something? Or?
I mean, by the contraction, I mean the personal entity, the sense of being Jim. That contracted sense of being somebody inside a body separate from the world is actually never happening. You'll never find it. It's always boundlessness, even with the appearance of a contraction. But the contraction's actually happening everywhere. You'll never find a contraction of you. You'll never find you. You'll never find Jim.
Okay, so that sense of having a boundary,
Yeah,
it is
complete illusion.
Can't be found. It's total illusion.
It can't ever be found. It can only it can never be found. Where would that beingness that's always there be found? Like where would you, when it comes down to the essence of you, the beingness, where would it ever be found? The contraction was always an illusion and never really happening. So it's not really an energetic shift, but that's just a way in which to explain what seems to happen. A move from contraction to boundlessness, but there's never really a contraction.
Yeah, sometimes I think that I know there was a Zen Buddhist that talked about we mistake words for nouns as having existence, and he talked about, he said like a fist. He said, I open my hand and where is it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's a really nice expression. Yeah,
I think that was Alan Watts.
no, he's good, Alan Watts. He says some really sweet things. I like him.
Very much, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I will definitely be playing this back many times until I don't need it anymore.
You never need it, Jim, because this is just yourself talking to you, but it seems that way sometimes. That's the dream that comes up. So.
Oh.
Nice. Oh, well, thanks, Jim. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling in. Bye.